Is the two-party system going to be smashed by Nigel Farage and Reform tonight? We've seen him win elections before, but we've never seen the consistency that we're seeing. I'm here in Runcorn and Helsby with a group of campaigners who believe that they are here to win the 17th safest Labour seat. This would be the earthquake that Nigel Farage has talked about before. But actually, if we now just have a wander around, we can see that this is not traditional fertile territory. And yet, look, give us a wave, guys. Here we go. Look, they're not your typical campaigners out in this area.
You're not seeing much enthusiasm for Kier Starmer or any of the Labour policies, and you're getting a lot of disappointment in this area. And that's something that I think we're really thriving on, is the amount of people that have felt left behind and let down.
What about the wider election? The local elections, obviously in massive Tory areas. We are expecting, once again, by the time this is run, the results will not be out. But we're expecting Reform to possibly, top the poll?
We are, yeah. The thing is, this is the thing. The by-election and the mayorals, these are the things that are in question. The local elections, it's basically a done deal that Reform is going to absolutely blast through many of these Tory councillors.
You're campaigning for Labour today. Talk TV, have you got anything to say? No? How's it going? You going to win? No? Look, I'm not against you, I'm just...
Even Labour in Doncaster, their one seat that they're defending, there are a lot of people now that are fed up with them and the way the government's acting, and it's just honestly blowing them all away. And I think that we will be, whatever happens, the narrative after this will be that Reform is the biggest party.
It's not necessarily about the local election results on a whole. It's more so finding the pockets of support, and then they can just target those areas going forward. Once they build up, the branch structure, the local councillors, that way they know, right, this is a strong spot for Reform, and we'll build from that. Because if those people are going to put their support in Reform, it's only right that Reform back those voters.
So there's a lot of jokes about Reform being very southern England, being a bit posh. You clearly, I'm not being disparaging, but you clearly have a very northern placeable accent.
Well, I'm originally from Hull, and Luke Campbell is standing there for mayor, and I've got family over in Hull. He's very, 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 very popular. I think Reform are going to storm the mayoralty in East Yorkshire. It's that whole anti-politics kind of mood. Like, it's not necessarily the fact that it's a protest, but it's just the way of speaking and speaking for them.
And what is that way of speaking?
Just, I know it sounds corny and cheesy, but it's like common sense, straight talking, says it as it is, someone who knows what a woman is, as an example. It's ridiculous that we've even got to that stage, but just someone who says what they believe and doesn't need a political advisor.
So just to explain what's going on behind me, all of the political parties will have put together their lists of people that they believe are likely to vote for them. So you'll see that Reform obviously will knock on different doors to the Labour Party. Us being talk, the Labour Party is not that keen to chat to us, but nonetheless, let's have a look at what they're up to.
Right, we're outside a house. We're going to make sure that these chaps who are apparently going to vote for Reform, whether or not they've actually gone and cast their vote yet, because you know what? It is so crucial that everybody goes out and votes today, because this is going to be a very close election, and every vote counts. So, have you been, Andre?
What happens next?
Well, we're sort of waiting for this chap to come back. I believe he had just gotten out the shower. So we've got a bit of a, I think we have a bit of a weight on our hands.
Okay.
Should we perhaps go to another house?
No, if he's going to wait, if he's waiting for you, or you're waiting for him.
I'm waiting for him.
Yeah.
I didn't just get out the shower, he did.
Now, do you normally talk to people when they get out of the shower?
No, I normally... normally people who get out the shower are... Oh, hello there.
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
That was a long wait for a no thank you.
They said they were on... They said they were voting for Reform there.
Though they may well do.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
I'd appreciate that didn't get one.
When I look at a group of young people here, look, and you look quite good, fun, sort of people I would drink with down the pub. It's amazing that you've bothered to come out. Why do you think most young people are not engaged in politics? And what do you think? Why do you think Reform appeals to you?
To be honest, I don't think it's just young people that are disengaged with politics. Obviously, being in Runcorn and Helsby today, there's been a lot of people that voted Labour last time and just can't be bothered anymore. They've lost the appetite for politics. Kier Starmer offered change, and it's just been more of the
Have
same.
they lost hope, or have they lost engagement in politics?
I think they go hand in hand. It's just, we've had 14 years of Conservative rule. Labour have come in, and within under a year, they've attacked WASPy women, pensioners, farmers, you name it. Now they're after disabled, PIP claimants, whatever. It's just, people are just so perplexed as to what's happened in the space of a year.
Our country back, and at the end of the day, I think we need to get our country back. The current politicians, Labour, Starmer, and the previous 14 years of Tory have just actually ignored the working class and basically the squeezed middle class of this great nation. If you look at what they've actually sold off as well, the assets that we've got off a tax, British Steel was under Chinese. We've just lost Royal Mail to a Czech company. We're selling our crown jewels off. We're selling the assets.
But let me stop you there and just say to you, traditionally, the right of politics have been quite keen on sales of assets.
Yeah, but I think with one of the reforms, key thing is to nationalise, renationalise. Labour have decided to take a leaf out of our policy and trying to come up with, Great British Energy. They already spent $8 billion of the administration of setting up the company, which is just, they're not business people. I think with reform, we've got Richard Tice, we've got Nigel, wasn't a stockbroker, he was commodities, dealing with scrap and everything that, the left and the media always get confused or, always misinterpret. And we've got a lot, we've got our farmers, we've got our working class, we've got a whole plethora of society of people who've said we've had enough and this is it. So that's what gets me out, because I want my country back and I love my country. I'm British through and through, I'm English, I'm proud to be a northerner.
We've had a few people slam the door in our faces today. However, the vast majority of people have been absolutely fantastic. In fact, I ended up having a half an hour long conversation with somebody who opened the door to me, who originally wasn't going to vote for reform, but I convinced them to vote for reform. So it's all part of the game. You win some, you lose some, but you know what, reform's going to win big here tonight, I'll tell you that.
Do you think that all politicians have let us down?
Yeah, pretty much, I'd say so, yeah.
Is there anything that could be done about it?
If I would have voted, I would have voted reform, because they're talking about getting a fucking crack on the borders and stuff like that, aren't they? So stopping all illegal immigration and stuff like that.
Well, I've got to be honest with you, I grew up sort of 20 minutes from here and went to school in Liverpool, and it just feels like no matter how hard we work around here, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Is that the way you feel?
Yeah, to be honest with you, yeah, it's always just same old, isn't it? If anything, things are getting worse. Like our local shopping centre there, it's got a handful of shops in there, either charity shops or pound shops. Do you know what I mean?
And a lot of people with the Colombian cold, and I mean that as a serious comment.
Yeah.
I mean, this looks like quite a nice area, particularly on a day like this. But there is a lot of poverty around here, isn't there?
Yeah, it's quite. It's a slightly impoverished area. Yeah.